You know, every month under President Obama kind of feels the same. High unemployment, rising prices, and more debt for our kids and our grandkids. And if government spending were what the president believes creates economic growth, we shouldn't be having any of these problems at all. Solving America's problems starts with what every family does every month. They've got to do a budget. But the president's budget is late again. Senate Democrats haven't done a budget in nearly 4 years, and none of them have a plan to replace the sequester. That's why Republicans passed the No Budget, No Pay Act to force Senate Democrats to finally take action. And it's why we're going to pass Tom Price's bill that would require the president to submit a plan that would actually balance the budget. And the sooner we solve our spending problem, the sooner our jobs problem will go away as well.
Good morning. I too want to thank Tom Price for bringing forward the Require a Plan Act. It is a bill that frankly says to the president, you know, please join us in doing your job. We put forward and will continue to put forward a plan that manages down the debt and deficit in 10 years. We want to see from the president how long he thinks it should take to balance a budget and how he's going to do it. You know, at the end of the day, all of us are here trying to improve the prospects for a brighter future for all Americans. We believe strongly that the way to do that is get our work done here and then look to the people of this country and see how it is that we can help them make their life better going into the future.
With our trillion-dollar deficits, the one thing the American public expects is a budget. You know, the Budget and Counting Act of 1921 requires that the president submit a budget on the first Monday in February. He's had 5 opportunities to do it, and he's missed the deadline 4 of the 5 times. If any of you are baseball fans, that's batting a .200 average. If you're a big baseball fan, you know now he's at the Mendoza line. The Mendoza line is about Mario Mendoza. It's the line that you talk for a Major League Baseball player if they become incompetent. I think the American public expect more and expect accountability.
Yesterday, it was mentioned the president, for the 4th time out of the last 5 years, failed to meet his legal requirement to submit a budget to Congress. So the president and the Senate Democrats are failing on what is really the most fundamental part of governing, the fundamental responsibility in governing, which is budgeting. And it's not Washington that suffers when this happens, but it is hardworking Americans all across this country. It is the moms, the dads, the seniors, the small business owners, the recent college grads that can't make decisions to move forward. When Washington is the biggest obstacle to economic growth, we have a problem. And we are not going to have prosperity. We're not going to have people that know how to make hiring decisions, know how to invest, be able to move forward until there is a budget in place. Families, small businesses, households understand that if you don't have a budget, you're going to fail. And Washington, D.C. and the federal government is in the same boat. So I'm pleased that we're moving forward on the Require a Plan Act that will require the president to let the American people know when he plans to balance the budget, when he plans to pay off this deficit. It is the first step to not only getting our fiscal house in order, but allowing our economy to move forward so that people can make decisions to invest, to hire, and to have their businesses succeed.
Most Americans know that when it comes to the safety and security of their families, serious planning is required. That's why when my family was young, we called a family meeting and discussed what we would do in the event of a fire at night. My son was 4 at the time, and his plan was he always wore his Superman PJs to bed, complete with a red Velcro cape on it. His plan was to karate chop his second-story double-paned window out and ride his Superman cape down to the front yard, and he'd meet us all there. Thank heavens his parents were adults, and we came up with a more serious plan to save his life. Today, if you listen to Admiral Mullen, the former chair of the Chiefs of Staff, the greatest threat to my children's security and safety is this national debt. That's why I'm glad, once again, to be part of a group of adults that have come up with a plan to address this issue. We put forward budgets the last 2 years that show the American people how to balance a budget, eliminate the debt. We'll do so again this year. And we challenge the Senate Democrats to do the same. They haven't prepared a budget, of course, in 4 years. And the president, we hope he takes off his Superman cape and sends up a serious plan. As you know, the last 2 budgets he sent up have received 0 votes. Not a serious plan. Serious times require serious planning.
Thank you. We're the minority party here in Washington. Yes, we're the majority in the House, but we don't control the Senate and we don't have the White House. One of the responsibilities of the minority party is to hold the majority to account and to provide a contrast. 2 weeks ago, we passed a bill, the No Budget, No Pay Act, to force the Senate to adopt a budget, something they hadn't done in 4 years, to hold them to account and to allow for a contrast for the American people to see. This week, I'm pleased to join my leadership in putting forward the Require a Plan Act that will say to the President 2 specific things. Put a budget in place that balances within a 10-year period of time, but if you don't, tell us when it does. Tell us when your plan balances. Families and businesses all across this great nation must work on a balanced budget. They can't borrow and spend as far as the eye can see. This President, it's time for him to step up, put forward a balanced budget, or tell us when his budget will balance.
In my home state of Indiana, we've had a balanced budget for the last 7 years. It takes leadership, it takes courage, and it takes a plan. But to do it, the President and Senate Democrats have got to stop pretending, start leading with a plan, because we know that with leadership and courage and a plan, it can be done. The Require a Plan Act is all about common sense. Americans like to plan. Like the Super Bowl this past weekend, athletes, coaches have plans. Families have plans, whether it is a retirement plan, a health plan, whether it is an education plan for their families. Businesses have strategic plans. They have business plans. But right now, our country does not have a plan, and America deserves a plan. And the facts speak loudly, as you know. The Senate hasn't passed a budget in 4 years. The President missed his deadline again. And that's why it's time for the American people to get what they deserve, a credible budget plan. Every dollar that the government spends is a dollar that someone else earned. And so let's earn the respect of the American people by giving them a smart spending plan. And that's why I'm proud to be here with leadership in the House Republicans to turn our biggest challenges into our biggest opportunities. The Require a Plan Act gives us that chance to plan, which will help with job creation, and it will be about planning and not pretending.